are you doing?
Okay, I'm gonna try to lift it.
I can't do it. You're doing great.
Thank you. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Allie, and I have another book haul. I can't be stopped. I got a raise. What more can I say? I like books. I have about 7 books here that I realized I'd never hauled while I was making a big spreadsheet of all my physical TBR. So let me briefly talk about them because some of them I don't even know what they're about and they've just been sitting on my shelves. Like Strangers, so let's get introduced. First we have This Thing Between Us by Gus Marino. I think this is like a literary horror, which is probably my favorite genre. And I'm so excited because I've heard amazing things about this and this cover's so cool. There's also a little dog. But again, no idea what it's about. Oh my god. These 2 people move into this new house. They hear weird noises, there's like weird packages coming to them, and then one of them is killed. Why did it tell us that? It's a darkly funny horror novel. At least it's gonna be a little funny, I hope. But damn, that just kind of sounds sad and scary. Which I guess, yeah, is my favorite genre. I think this is also a literary hoarder. It's I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. This was a Netflix movie. I still haven't seen it because I want to read the book first. I think it's just a story about a girl who's gonna go visit her boyfriend's parents. A nightmare road trip. And there's actually no synopsis on the back, so that doesn't really help. This is the author though of We Spread, which I read last year and I gave it 4 stars. I really liked the writing style. I thought it was beautiful and short, which is like a good combo. This was an impulse buy from Barnes & Noble. It just looked cool. It's called No Longer Human, and I didn't realize that this was originally published back in like the 1930s, maybe 1940s, maybe the 50s. I don't know, a long time ago before I was born. It's been translated and it's about a man who feels himself incapable of understanding human beings, and apparently it's semi-autobiographical. This is another depressing sounded introspective story. Yeah. Then I have The City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert. I feel like I saw a couple people say that they really like this book. I think it was Meredith over at Reading with Merb. Maybe Jolene. Jolene, what is your channel name? I forgot. Jolene. What is your channel name, Jolene? Bookworm Adventure Girl. I think this is New York City and a group of girls. That's all I know. Oh, this woman named Vivian is telling her story about when she was kicked out of college in 1940s. She went to go live with her aunt in New York City, and she gets up to a lot of drama stuff, and she meets a cast of unconventional and charismatic characters, which just sounds fun. It sounds like a movie. I really like books set in New York City. I know that's probably basic of me, but sir, arrest me because I want more. Then I bought Chouette. I saw Books with Neen purchasing this. I didn't even wait to see what she thought of it before I purchased it too, because this is about a woman who gives birth to an owl. That is so cool. I actually did start it. I got 20 pages in, and it is way more dense than I was expecting. Just in the way it's written, it's very like pretentious in like a good artsy kind of way, but I have to be in that kind of mood when I go into a book like that, so I'm waiting on this one because how can this not be weird? I mean, it already is weird. After I read Bunny by Mona Awad, I got her, I think this is her debut novel, 13 Ways of Looking at a Fat Girl by Mona Awad. I don't know what this is about, and I haven't really heard anyone review it. I just know I wanted to read more from Mona. It's brilliant, hilarious, and at times shocking. She skewers our body image obsessed culture, Mona does, and delivers a tender and moving depiction of a lovably difficult young woman, my favorite kind. It's all about struggling to conform, which actually sounds, I think, similar to her new book coming out, what is it, in August, Rouge? I think that's about like a mother and daughter and how obsessed they are with vanity, that's what that word is. So interesting. It sounds like it could be potentially triggering for some people, so I don't know how intense this is gonna get. I also got Severance by Ling Ma, based on a few people's recommendations. I think Monica over at Dog-Eared Musings raved about this, I'm pretty sure. This is a post-apocalyptic story, but it's like literary fiction, and I don't think it's very intense, or at least this is what my understanding is. It's not really high stakes. It's kind of like a slow-moving, take it as it comes sort of situation. Plus, it's so beautiful. Look at this cute little pink cover. In my last haul, I hauled Flawless by Elsie Silver. This is the first book in the Chestnut Spring series. And of course, I had to get the next two because I really liked that book. It was so fun. It was so cute. It was very sexy. And I don't know, I've never really read and enjoyed a ranch romance before this. So wow, I had to get more. Plus, I've heard great things about both the second and third. The second one's Heartless. And let me see what this is about. I'm pretty sure the main dude in here works on a farm, on his family's farm. And he needs a nanny, so he gets a nanny. And they're all sort of related to the characters in the first book. So forced proximity, single dad, grumpy sunshine, age gap, all those good things. And then the third one, all I know is that there's a ballerina in it, which is probably why there's one on the cover. Sounds like childhood friends to lovers. And apparently she's supposed to be getting married and everything falls apart on her wedding day and he saves her. I don't know what that means. Obviously, I'm gonna find out. I don't know why I haven't read these yet. It's actually annoying. Then I got Mayfly by C.J. Lead. This is the book that's first of all, look at that. Apparently, it's heavily influenced by American Psycho, which I purchased and was in my last haul. But since then, I've watched the movie and I watched it with a bunch of like gym bros. And I was a little discouraged by how much they were like in love with the main character when I was like, so now I'm a little discouraged from reading this because it seems very, I don't know. But this is about a woman who works as a sort of Disney princess. I use quotation marks because it's not actually Disney. Apparently, I think her best friend's brother comes to town. He awakens something dangerous within her. She tries on a new persona and I'm sure she's just gonna start killing people. And that sounds more fun than what I watched with those random dudes. Why did I say random? They were actually my friends. That was kind of mean. Last month, I went to Kauai, the next island over. I live in Oahu, for those of you that don't know. And I went to Talk Story Bookstore, which is the westernmost bookstore of the United States. I had to get a book. I got Pet Sematary by Stephen King. I don't know whether I love or hate this cover. Like, there's a cat on it, so of course I love it. But also, like, wow, that is goofy. I've heard so many people talk about this as their scariest Stephen King book, or I don't know, maybe their favorite. Why do I say things I'm not actually sure of? I've heard a lot of people talk about this book and I can't remember in what way. So yeah, I had to buy it, I guess. These aren't book related, but I also got these prints from that bookstore and the owner's wife made them. It's so cool. They're like pieces of dictionary with the bookstore that she drew and then a rooster on some books. Very Hawaiian. I love it. Yeah, I had to show you. I got home from vacation and I had a little present waiting for me. Thank you, Meredith. This is You by Caroline Kepnes, and I'm so glad it was this cover and not like the TV show adaptation cover, just cause, I don't know, it's like cooler to have the original cover. Even though I don't think this is the original cover, I'm gonna shut up. I'm guessing this is like the first season of the show where it's about Joe Goldberg. He works in a bookstore and he becomes obsessed with this girl named, what was her name? Guinevere Beck. I didn't find out until like last year that this was a series, and so I definitely want to start it so I can learn more, just cause what an interesting point of view. I also got By a Thread by Lucy Score. I don't really know why I got this. This was an impulse decision. The only other book I have by Lucy Score is Things We Never Got Over. And if you watched my last haul, this is like one that I've DNF'd, but for some reason then I purchased it so I could read it, which I haven't done yet. I don't know if I'm gonna love this, but I think Sarah Caroli? I think this is her favorite Lucy Score book, so maybe I'll start here first. I don't know. Have any of you read this? What do you think about it? This is about... I have no idea. Oh, okay, so this guy accidentally takes his anger out on this girl in a pizza shop and she gets fired. Not a good move, not a good look. But apparently his mother ends up hiring her to work in his office. So there's forced proximity, probably caters to lovers. Is that what it's called? Grumpy Sunshine. There's some sort of secret. I'm being so vague, I'm sorry. They're gonna fall in love, that's all that matters. Then I got The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. This is also an impulse purchase because obviously I have seen this book everywhere for a couple years now, but I've never ever felt the urge to buy it. But then I had money and I bought it. I think this one's gonna be interesting because whenever I ask people about this book or I hear people talk about it, it's either 5 stars or like a 1 star. And I wanna know what my guess is gonna be. And I kinda wanna try to solve it. Is it easy to solve? If you read this, let me know if the plot is like predictable. I think it's gonna be a 4.5. I don't know why. Okay, it's about this married couple who seem to be like perfect. And then randomly, the wife shoots the husband 5 times in the face. and then never speaks another word. That is actually very enticing. I want to know what happened immediately. Good job. A criminal psychotherapist ends up becoming obsessed with this story, and he wants to meet the wife and try to get her to talk. I really want to know what happened. I also got this collector's edition of Red, White, and Royal Blue because when I originally read this years ago, I just had a library book, so I never... I've never owned it. Oh my god, how cute is this? I didn't look at that when I bought it. Why did I just get goosebumps? Anyway, I wanted to get it because the show is coming out, I think in August, and I definitely want to reread this before then. Another impulse purchase from Barnes & Noble was Peachy by Camry Kohler. I was just traipsing around. I think this is in the fantasy section. This was like the only colored book or bright color in that whole row, and it just drew me in. And then it ended up on Kayla with Books and Lala's TBR for Summerween. Sorry, I can't speak. Okay, this is about a girl named Frankie, and she finds her grandmother dead on a sofa. Apparently, this is a world of witches, and there are different types of witches. A healer, which I think Frankie, our main character, is. Seers, which Frankie's best friend Ben is. And then there are treacherous witches, dragons, shifters, and vampires. That's weird that they're witches and dragons. I want to know more about that. Apparently, a vampire ended up killing Frankie's grandma, and she's after Frankie, so Frankie has to like figure out who it is and maybe stop them. I don't know, it sounds kind of fun, goofy. Ooh, Luster by Raven Leilani. I have seen this everywhere. I didn't realize how small it was and short, and I've heard amazing things about it, and I just can't wait to read it, even though I have no idea what it's about. I think it's about wait, maybe that's a spoiler. Okay, it's not a spoiler. She ends up in a relationship with a couple who are married, and they have like an open... Oh wait, for some reason I thought they were all together, but maybe she's just with the husband and the wife is okay with it because they have an open marriage. It's a portrait of a young woman trying to make sense of her life, her hunger, her anger. Ooh! This sounds sexy, but I think it's gonna make me cry, which actually that might be better than scary and sad. Is sexy and sad? Then I got Brutes by Diz Tate. I got this after watching Monica with Dog-Eared Musings video on it. Honestly, Monica makes me want to buy every book that she talks about. She has impeccable taste, so you should definitely check out her channel if you haven't before. The Virgin Suicides meets the Florida Project. I love the Virgin Suicides. And I'm from Florida. I mean... I think this is about a group of girls, and I think it's told in the we perspective. What is that called? Like first person plural, which is just anytime the narration is in some weird kind of thing. Like in Bunny, there's a section where it's we, and I think I had an orgasm. I'm sorry, that was a little much. I loved it. That is like something I love. But apparently a girl in their community goes missing, and these girls are watching from a distance and coming closer to discovering a dark secret about their fame-hungry town. Next, I got Red Rising, honestly just because Haley of Haley Fam said that this was amazing and it was the first book in a while. She had that feeling of like, oh my god. I really don't know too much about it, except I think this is sci-fi. Wow, this is a very short description, so I'm just gonna read it and react to it with you. His wife is taken, his people enslaved. Driven by a longing for justice and the memory of lost love, Daryl will stop at nothing to bring down his enemies, even if he must be one of them to do so. I didn't even get sci-fi from that. Oh my god, the text is so small. Oh well, I think I'm just gonna jump in. Oh, I got Sorrowland by River Solomon. I've seen a lot of people read this, and I think this is another literary, maybe it's not horror. Anyway, I think Meredith was talking about River Solomon. My internet friend Erin said that I should read this. So of course, I instantly bought it. Ooh, it's a genre-bending work of gothic fiction. Apparently this woman is 7 months pregnant and she flees the strict religious compound where she was raised, which just sounds very interesting. She gives birth to twins in the woods and she does something that transforms her. I don't know what that means and I really, really want to know. It sounds like, again, sad, scary, paranormal, ? Haunted Americas, tortured history. Yes. I did get Ruth Ware's new release, 0 Days. I'm nervous about this, I really am. I kind of want to read it just so I can get it over with, which is just not a nice thing to say, so I'm sorry. Apparently this is about a married couple who are, and I quote, penetration specialists. I guess what that means is that companies hire them to test their security, so they hack into it to see if it can be done and how strong their security measures are. But apparently on some sort of mission, I don't know how this happens, but the husband ends up getting killed, I think, and the police start questioning the wife. And I think they are under the impression that she is responsible for his murder, so she has to figure out what happened so she can clear her name. When I was doing my new release for the summer video, I said that my guess is that the husband's not even dead and he tricked or made it look like his wife was responsible for whatever reason, I don't know, but that's my guess. And then when I was talking to Grant about it, he's like, oh yeah, penetration specialists are this, and this. He works in intelligence. I probably shouldn't even be saying that. And so wouldn't that make sense if like the husband was testing their security measures and like, I don't know. See, that kind of makes it sound more interesting. I don't know why I'm putting this off. I gotta read this. Have any of you read this yet? Was it good? Bad? But wow, these look like cousins. I also got Night's Edge, a new release by Liz Karen. Look how angsty this cover is. That is what made me buy it. It's a vampire story and it's kind of reminding me of Woman Eating, but like before Woman Eating. This is a story about a young half vampire after she leaves her mother's house, who is like very overprotective. This one is about young woman whose mother is a vampire and she's very overprotective, but she's living with her. She ends up, I think, falling in love with a girl in a band and she wants to leave. And then something happens that we don't know about because it's probably a big spoiler. I really, really, really love Woman Eating, but I think I more so loved it because of the writing itself, like Claire Coda. Oh my god. So we'll see with this, but hopefully it'll be fun. Ooh, Biography of X by Catherine Lacey. I've seen this cover all over Instagram. It's another literary fiction. Apparently it's a literary adventure and there are like images in it, like a textbook. I, for some reason, thought this was a linen covered book and it's not. It's like this weird material that I don't know if I like, but it still looks cool. Honestly, reading the back of this, it sounds so boring. It sounds like historical. There's a main character named X, who is an artist, writer, and polarizing shapeshifter. Oh wait, so is this fantasy? I love how I'm asking you, who's literally a camera sitting in my room who can't talk back to me. Oh, X falls dead. Okay, wait. Oh, okay, interesting. So X ends up dying and X's widow, CM, it's interesting that there's like letters just for names, is trying to write her biography. And she learns all these things, including stuff that happens in the Southern Territory in World War II. That part sounds boring, but I like the fact that she didn't know anything about her wife. That means there's some juicy secrets in there. Oh my gosh. I got Business or Pleasure by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This is the author of The X Talk and Weather Girl, both of which I think I gave 3.5 stars, and both of which I really, really, really loved the first half of, and then the second half kind of petered out for me. And so I am waiting for Rachel Lynn Solomon to have a book where I like both halves, because there's just so much potential. I really like her writing. I like her setups. This one is about a ghostwriter, our main girl. She ends up hooking up with this random dude and it doesn't go very well. She's like, oh god, that wasn't very good. She thinks nothing of it because she doesn't think she's ever going to see the guy again, but then her next assignment is to write his autobiography. Why can't I say that word? His memoir, his autobiography. Anyway, I think he says something about that night, or maybe insinuates that he wants to continue doing that. And she has to break it to him that, boy, you're trash at it. I think they end up having like a student-teacher relationship where she teaches him how to be a good lover and then they fall in love. One of my favorite tropes is friends with benefits to lovers, because you get like all that sexy stuff in the beginning and then it's almost even more fulfilling when they finally fall in love, because you know it's love and not lust. And I just love that story. Ooh, my husband got me Our Share of Night by Mariana Enriquez. This is a huge book about a cult, and I think they might be vampires. It's a father and son. They're kind of on the run. The mom recently passed away. The generations, or like the family members, are kind of after them. There's lots of secrets going on, lots of weird stuff going on. I've heard good things about, I think this author had short story collection, maybe more than one. I don't really know. I should probably research these things before I talk, but I've heard great things about this author, so I do want to read this. I haven't really heard too many reviews of this. Maybe everyone's scared of how big it is. That's what she said. Grant also got me The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I don't really know what this is about, but I know there's dragons because there's one on the cover. There's 3 people, a huntress, a noblewoman, and a thrall. Don't even know what that is. And they have to do something. I don't know what it is. I feel like fantasy, I kind of just have to get in and take the ride and not question anything. So that's my plan. Then I finally got this. This is what this video has been waiting for, Divine Rivals. I ordered it like 2 weeks ago. That's not true. I ordered it 9 days ago, which is like a week and a half, which is practically 2 weeks, so I'm not even lying. I got this after I watched Sarah Caroli. Why can't I say her name? I watched her video and she gave this like 5 stars, maybe even like 6 out of 5 stars. She just raved about it and it made me want to read it. Apparently it's this fantasy world where you can kind of send messages, I don't know, without sending them. It's kind of like Feyre and Rhysand, how they communicated. Didn't he like send her letters that kind of just disappeared? Or is that Nesta and what's his face? I don't know. Anyway, that's the part that intrigued me. I don't know why that's what got me, but it did. Our main character's name is Iris. She's 18 and she's trying to win the columnist promotion at a gazette, which is just such a fun word. She's got a lot of family drama. To combat her worries, she writes letters to her brother and slips them beneath her wardrobe door, and that's where they vanish. I guess you can just send letters that way. But apparently Roman Kit ends up receiving all of them. He's her sort of workplace rival. He starts anonymously writing her back and they forge a connection and they fall in love. I just know it. Oh my God. Okay. And final book I'm so excited for. I just got this. It's The Thick and the Lean. If you watched my last vlog I put up, I listened to the first chapter of this and then immediately purchased it. It was that good. This is a dystopian story about a young woman, and in this world, in this time, she lives in a religious community, and they're so weird because they think that the less you eat, the closer to God you are, except she wants to be a chef. She loves cooking and she gets so much passion out of food, which is so taboo in this culture, which is just, it was so crazy to read about because also in this time and even in this religious cult or whatever they are, they're very sexual. Just this, the whole world is kind of not even accepting of sex, but like encouraging of sex. It was just so crazy, the satirical writing that was in here that was sort of using language that's often talked about overly sexualized people and shaming queer people or just sexual people in general, but it was using that kind of language to describe people who ate just food. At one point, she sneaks off when she's a teenager with a boy to the kitchens, and instead of being worried about them getting caught making out or like having sex, she ends up making a grilled cheese sandwich and they get caught and she gets in such trouble. She ends up getting kicked out of like the sleepover. I don't know. The way that this grilled cheese sandwich was described, let me actually see if I can find it. Bright yellow cheese oozed out vulgarly as she pulled the halves apart. It was even more obscene than she had anticipated. She couldn't wait to take a bite. I don't know. I want to read this so bad, and it's so funny. I think it's so cool when a book can be funny just through the writing and not even through what's happening. Like, that's just so clever. And yeah. Plus this cover. Look at it. All right, I think that's it. There are books everywhere. I forgot a very important thing that I bought thanks to Sam from Samantha Donovan. I saw her purchase and I said, I need it too. I got the white edition of Twilight. New Moon, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn, I do have the books. Like, I have all of the books, but New Moon, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn, I got the original hardback, like when they were released, and they are falling apart and I'm scared to even hold them. So now, it doesn't even have like the title or anything. It's art. It's art, people. This is my favorite cover of all of them. It came with Twilight. This is Twilight. New Moon, Eclipse, Breaking Dawn. Look how dramatic these covers are. I'm sorry. It even came with Midnight Sun, which I wasn't expecting. I didn't realize people don't like Midnight Sun. I worship the ground that Midnight Sun walks on. And The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner. I'm so happy I purchased this. That is all. Goodbye. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon.